What's up? So, thought I may have some troubles. Moderators, you may have some troubles here today. Probably going to be a bit chaotic on here. But, yeah, it's been a chaotic last hour, so I'm sure most of you, if you live in the States, seen what happened. Um, it's a bummer. Like, you want to be a proud of whatever, a proud Australian, a proud Englishman, a proud African. You also want to be able to say, hey, I'm a proud American. But man, things are very wild. So basically, I just want to say condolences to the man who was shot and killed, and to the one that is dealing with being shot and is in critical condition. So apparently the ex-president has already left the hospital, so he's alright. I think he just got his ear nicked, but I don't know. You take everyone's guns away, and now even the people that shoot can't shoot very good. So that's all I'm going to say on that, but I felt like it would be disingenuous if I didn't at least discuss it. Start this out. This is Tree Talk News. I'm going to try to do this every week for you guys. We'll talk and discuss videos that I see on YouTube, other tree channels, and what they've done. I'll discuss, things out of the week that, like, things I liked, things I didn't like that I seen. Maybe when I talk about some things that I don't like, I'll kind of give my opinion on maybe a better way. I'm going to try my best to always do this without bringing any negative attention to anybody's channel, but I want to bring some positive attention to some channels too. What's going on, Jay, Billy, JP? So yeah, also we'll do a tips and trick. This is kind of how this today or tonight will be kind of laid out. We'll do just straight up news, like what I've seen, and the group of guys that I follow, what they've been doing. Then we'll discuss like some cool things that I kind of spotted out there. If you guys have anything, bring it up. I'll get more kind of intimate back and forth with the chat as I do most of this. We'll keep it pretty much like this each week. The news will always change. There'll always be new videos out. There'll always be new guys starting channels. We'll do a featured channel each week, and this week is Saw Bandits. Great guys. I just realized as I was checking all this that you guys read everything backwards. Well, you have to see it backwards because of my camera. So my bad about that. Saw Bandits is spelled just the way it sounds. SAWBANDITS. So they are hilarious and just downright good guys that work hard and have a good work ethic. So the channel he's very, very open and like giving with all his knowledge. If you have any questions, he seems to be really good at answering and stuff. And I think he's going to be putting out more content like coming up right now, like a better variety of it. We all kind of get our times where we get a little off, to where we don't have that creative spark. So you want to kind of take a break, re-energize, recharge. Some people can just keep going and keep kicking out videos. I try my best to do that, but I also have my ebb and flow to where I'm like, okay, I'm all about making videos or I'm not. So yeah, then after we do the featured channel, which we just kind of did, I'll kind of show some things that I liked and didn't like. We'll talk and discuss. We'll do a trick tip, and that'll kind of, this time it kind of coincides with some of the video stuff and news. And then I want to end the chat each week with like a WTF kind of thing. The weirdest, I'm going to try to keep it tree related thing that I seen for after the chat ends. For if you want to go watch something, what I'll do is I will actually, we'll talk about it. I'll give you the information. Then I will go into my community page and I will make a post and share, or what I'll do is I'll just share it after the live feed so you guys can go check it out. So we'll try to do that. This time it's a channel that doesn't need my help at all. It's a very, very well known and established channel. Apparently it has a ton of subscribers. So but it is amazing what I've seen, and we'll discuss at the end. So this week I seen a lot of stuff on battery saws. Give me just a second to shut this door for the bugs come flying in. Oh, okay. All right. So this week I seen a lot of stuff on battery saws, just battery saws in general. So I have so many notes like for this because I wanted to make sure I at least had enough content to like keep a good live stream going, and then if we offshoot with the conversation, cool, I'm good with that. But I seen a lot of stuff on battery powered saws. I don't know my opinion on the battery powered saws. I don't really know yet. Like I've never really. I tried a Milwaukee top handle that an older farmer. Actually, the video where I did that big nasty dead tree that was out in the middle of a field, but we couldn't hit the our fence for the cows. That video, that guy at his house, he had I think it was a hickory, yeah, shagbark that had broken and went over into a top. So I went to his place, and as I was getting ready to start, he asked if I wanted to use his saw, and I've had customers say that stuff and like our homeowners, and it's like, nah, no. But I was like, yeah, babe, what do you got? And then he said he had that, so he went and got it, brought it back, and I was amazed by it. The power was amazing, and it was just an all-around good saw. So hopefully the live feed does good. It's probably so chaotic right now with people going live on YouTube. Okay, now I have some comments coming through. We bought a Milwaukee battery powered top handle. I did a couple videos on it a while ago. Really, I'll have to check it out, Jay. Sometimes a video will skip by me and I don't get to see it. And like videos, I have so many videos I try to watch and keep up with that I'm glad. Yeah, I didn't even see it, brother. I'll have to go check it out though, because I was really impressed with the saw. It had power to it, like, so you could. It's just his chain was a bit dull, and he's like, I sharpened it myself, and I'm like, oh my god. But the saw had still, it was a dull chain, and it still had enough power to do what I needed on a shagbark hickory, which is like the hardest, stringiest stuff. And but when I got to the top, I'm like, hey, can you send me my saw, like tie it on? I sent him his saw down on a clip. He clipped mine on because I needed to make some slice cuts or some salami cuts and have the branch, instead of coming over, just slowly come straight down because I didn't have space. Basically replant it. That's what I kind of needed to do, and for that I'll always stick to my petroleum saws, like gas powered. Like that's what I like. That's what I've always used, and it's never let me down. So it's like I hate to go away from it. What's going on, Dan? We're just getting into this one. So yeah, the battery powered stuff. Zacchaeus put out a video where he went to the Milwaukee Battery Saws place, and it was like an expo. He went through the expo, checked a lot of stuff out with Milwaukee. I didn't see him. He uses the Milwaukee top handle, I think, in his videos, but he used a back handle one, and it took 2 batteries, and that's just absolutely out of, not a chance I'm doing that. In my opinion, the issue with the battery powered saws is the price of the batteries and the fact that they're not warranted like they should be. So I wouldn't mind the price on the batteries if they warranted that battery for a certain period of time, because I just can't justify them going out as quick as I hear that they go out. But my complaints mainly were battery life compared to a tank of fuel in a 200T or 201, and guys on the ground can't hear it safely. Yeah, I agree. And in my opinion, it's somewhat an annoying sound. Like a battery powered saw is kind of annoying the way it sounds. So yeah, the cost of batteries then are crazy. So it's like I just can't justify it. So I have that little top handle one here, the little pistol grip one, and it's awesome. Like it works really good. But I use it for all kinds of stuff around the house. But I just like cut some lady's stumps out of her yard because I mow her yard for her and my neighbor, and I was able to use it and just cut them flush with the ground, and that little saw ripped right through it. But I took the front shield off of it, so I'll show you it. Let me show you that. Oh shoot! I kind of did some cleaning up and rearranging in here. I'm gonna change it up. I need to like paint the walls. The lighting in here is so bad, so I'm gonna try to get it better for you guys, so it's a little more enjoyable to watch. But yeah, I was gonna slick my hair to the side and come out in a suit and start it like a legit news channel, but I felt like I'd be a knucklehead. So I got the holster strapped to your leg, which is really cool. Or I would just take a carabiner and I'd clip it to my saddle. So it used to have this guard. I think the blade guard is actually still right up here. Yeah. Okay. So they come with this silly little thing right here that like goes over the, actually it bolts in right, oh shoot, right there, and it would come down and it would go over the top. And if you needed to make a back bar like cut, you would have to like reach and grab this, pull it up, and then do it. So I want to be able to cut every which way, so the first thing I did was pop that thing off, and I've really liked the little saw ever since. So I'm not the biggest fan at it's really even in the hand. I'm not the biggest fan of having the sharp 1/4-inch Pico chain, but you know, it is what it is. You can see I've used that thing down to pretty much nothing on the teeth. They are very small now, but it's really nice. It's got a little lever for each side. Has its own safety trigger for your thumb. So your thumb just hits it, and then you hit the gas trigger, and you can take your finger off of it if you need afterwards. But yeah, either hand, it's really kind of handy. You can switch back and forth, and then taking that top part off is really nice. It has this like rubber mount up here to where you can get a grip if you're worried about any kind of a kickback. So I would suggest this for like women at home and stuff. It's really nice. My wife uses the little hedge trimmer one I got too, and these batteries are really cool. You get one with it. You get the charger. It's like $100 and something now. I think I got mine for like $100 originally, but yeah, I've used it for like I did almost a whole tree where I trimmed all the sides on a tree, and I think that's all I've done with it. Just not all that practical and stuff, and it's another thing to be hanging off of the side of my saddle, so that would kind of be an issue sometimes. I kind of hated that, but keep me informed if you guys run into any issues as we're doing this. If like the camera cuts out or anything silly like that, let me know, because I don't know how this live feed's gonna go. It still seems a bit dark. Give me just a second. that brightened it up a little. So I guess we could turn this a little lighter. There we go. Okay, so you know what? I think I'm gonna get comfortable here. Since we're just gonna talk, and instead of sitting here at this desk, I'm gonna sit in my chair and we'll do this the rest of this live feed. We'll talk about whatever you want, and then we'll go into like actual like YouTube channels I follow and the news and stuff like that. And then there's a list of things that I kind of ran into this week of other channels that some stuff I seen that was gnarly and I just don't get, but we'll talk about it all. It's a cool little saw for trim. It is a really fun little saw to use too. It's it's set up really nice. So let's move it in a little more. There we go. Damn, it's still too far away. I want to at least be able to keep up with the comments and stuff. And I think the lighting may be a bit better here. So kind of get up underneath that light there. But yeah, that's a fun little saw. But okay, like I said, Zacchaeus did some talk on some Milwaukee saws. But then DeWalt had apparently sent out multiple saws, battery powered saws. They sent one to Veterans Tree Service, which is a fun channel. I like. He does some gnarly trees, and they sent one to August. That's what it was. The other person that I seen who got one was August, and it seems to be that everyone kind of liked it. So it seems to have the power and stuff. And the thing I was hearing, he kept saying that like if the plastics felt strong enough, he could drop it and it wouldn't break. It would still work, which blew my mind. Usually everything I've ever bought that's DeWalt kind of feels a bit weakish. The plastics aren't usually the best, but maybe they fix that. And knowing that it's going to be used in a chainsaw situation, kind of beat up on, maybe they won't with a stronger plastic, which would be really smart on their part. Did you see Reg's last video on his chipper? Yes, I did, Dan. That's one thing I definitely wanted. That was in the topic of things that I seen that was just awesome. I'm amazed how Reg just kind of modified all that to work for him. That's my favorite stuff. I love all that. So I think on the battery saws, the thing I didn't like when Zacchaeus went to the expo is that they're starting to put 2 batteries now. That's just silly to me. And it didn't seem any faster, maybe by 1 second on a cut. But for me, to justify a whole nother battery, which I know the price of the first one, I don't have to buy 2. And then you got 2 to charge, and like, I don't much get that. I don't like that they're doing that. And I feel like that's where their money is coming from, and their profit margins are coming more out of the batteries, so they're going with that. So I don't like it. The life on them a lot of times isn't very long, and they end up burning up and not being good. So I'm not a fan personally, but that doesn't mean that they're not good. So Wildwood Jake, what's up, Jake? How you doing, brother? So yeah, let's talk about Reg's chipper. I loved how it was an 18-month review on that chipper. It had got it, and originally he put it on this little push cart. It had like wheels, and he attached a winch to it, and that's how he would get it up some inclines and get it into the back of that. That was genius how he set that up, but it's probably very tippy at times, and like I get why he switched But the idea of putting it on a motorized uh, tub, or I don't even know, what do they call those things? I think I wrote it down. Oh, a power buggy is what he called it. What's up, Chris? How are you? Um, yeah, you put it on the power buggy, and that's just awesome. I wish you would have cruised it around and showed us how maneuverable it is. He even said it goes upstairs now. So, such an amazing setup. And then his modifications to it. I love all that stuff. Reg is a very inventive type of a guy and is so smart. And you just kind of got to feel a bit blessed that he gets on the internet and spends his time making videos and putting them out that are gonna, at worst, the worst case scenario, it will entertain a person for a while. But the knowledge that he's giving away is unreal. He's such a smart guy. So yeah, I love the fact that Reg even put anything out. I have yet to see a video of Reg's that I didn't like. I relate to like all of them. He's a guy that doesn't mind the hard work aspect. He can use heavy machinery, big stuff, do all the complicated, but he can also at the same time will simplify things down to a point that you feel dumb when you see what he's done and you're like, why didn't I already think of that? But he's an outside of the box thinker, and I don't think his brain probably shuts off. I think it's always going and always thinking of new things. So such an amazing channel, and the dude is just he's a wizard when it comes to tree work. What's up, Ground Pounder? Chris is here. How we doing, Chris? Just got in, Ground Pounder. Right on. So I think it was all. Oh yeah. So I think Dan the Tree Man, he also has one of them little chippers. So I'm curious to see him make a video and put it out and kind of tell us what his thoughts are after a few months of having it and using it and stuff. So yeah, Reg's little setup that was amazing. It's so ingenious because like he took all the silliness out of it by putting it on that power buggy, and he just made it to where now I guarantee you the company will now start to put them on power buggies because it's almost silly not to. So that's Reg for you though. So who are we talking about? Reg. And he's cooler than a cucumber. Like you can't shake him. And that's my favorite thing about him is like you could talk all the trash you want, but it's like ducks off a water's back. Really? Water off a duck's back. Like he don't care. He could care less. That's a very secure dude, very confident, and very extremely inventive. So kind of lucky to have a guy like that who takes his time and puts out that stuff on YouTube for everyone else to absorb and like help. So what happened to his device? I think he just ran into tons of complications on the safety end of it and the hoops they were trying to make him jump through. And like, it may be crazy. He may just be smarter to go ahead and sell the device and let someone else deal with all that headache. But he is so smart. I wouldn't doubt if he's not handling that as we speak. So I don't know. I think he just said it hit some roadblocks, and he's trying to figure a few things out. Some of the restrictions are kind of complicating things, but I don't know where I heard that from because I feel like I didn't hear that from Reg, but maybe I did. I don't know. Sometimes my brain misfires. So yeah, hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn and like lying on Reg right there because that's not a good look. But oh, let's go into some things that I seen this week that I kind of was just bummed to see. I seen one thing you got to look out for when you're doing tree work is the climb line. Okay, if you're doing a rigging setup, you set up rigging in a tree, you can make it as complicated as you want and as gnarly as you want, and like, but you then, after that's all set up, it needs to either be set up in relation to your climbing setup, or afterwards you need to make sure your climbing setup is not being impeded at any point or no ropes are crossing. That's some things that, if you haven't done this for a long time, maybe you don't quite understand how quick two ropes rubbing on each other, especially when you're rigging something that's got some weight on it, how quick it will burn through a rope. So I seen some that was very blatant, and I'm just, this is a heads up to anybody who does rigging and sets up more complicated with redirects and stuff like that. Even a normal rigging setup can rub against your rope. You don't want any ropes rubbing on each other. They can burn through a rope so incredibly quick. It's almost dumb how fast it can go through. So be careful with your rigging setups and make sure, the way I like to do it is I like to set my tie-in point, and then I like to create my rigging setup in relation to that where I was tied in. So work everything and keep, because at all times I'm looking to make a rigging setup that doesn't include my climbing anchor. That's the safest way, in my opinion. So I will try to spread things out and not use the stem that I'm tied into. So that's maybe a bit foreign to guys that do single stem trees, like pines and cedars and stuff like that. Like, that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but our trees are very widespread, and a lot of times you have the opportunity to spread the rigging setup out and not put it on your climbing system, because even if it's like the secondary or third whatever, even if it's not the primary where it's lowering from, there still is a bunch of tension. There's potential for failure. So I try to always set my setup and not include the stem I'm tied into in the rigging setup. If I do include it, what I'll do is I'll go low to a fatter piece and use it as a redirect to strengthen a different stem to set up a redirect to. But that's kind of a difficult one to kind of explain. But I hope it makes sense. Like, if I'm tied in up here, I'll go down and anchor a redirect here, and then run a rope over to a stem that's going up here. And like, what it's doing is now, instead of going like off from the side to that stem, it's compressing it into the stem, which makes it a lot more sturdy, stronger, and you can set up and not have at any point your climbing system getting yanked all around when you drop weight into the rigging system. So that's something I see a lot of. I try to keep them separated. And if you have the ability at any time to have them separate, you should do that. But at the same time, you need to know how to set it up on the same, because stem work where you're working down a log, that's what you have to do. So yeah. So what was I? Okay, yeah. So just pay attention to your line as much as you can, and make sure you don't got a couple of them rubbing together. So we're looking forward to it. Ready for yeah, sweet. Okay, so what's another thing? Oh, another thing. I think nowadays people get all their information so much from the internet, and they'll go straight to YouTube. They'll be looking to get a battery powered saw, and they go from YouTube and they go straight there and they buy it because they're like, the guy I follow said that it was good. But the problem sometimes is like, I wish they would. It's more a shrug on the people watching than it is the creator, because the creator thinks that you'll understand that, hey, I've only used this saw for 3 to 4 hours, but I'm saying I like it and it's good. But I think, hold off before you go and buy something, and let a person have it for a period of time before they tell you if it's good or not. You'll notice that Reg waited 18 months before he ever said a word about if it's good or not. And I think that is just, that's like an honorable thing to do. You're being a stand up guy because you haven't, you've gave it all the time in the world to have a mistake, have a hiccup, have something wrong with it, and you've worked the kinks out of it. You've used it in every probably scenario that you could. You've put the time in and you've used it, physically used it, and then, and in my opinion, only then do you have an opinion of if something's good or not. So, in my opinion, if someone was to ask me, is the rope runner, should I get the rope runner pro? I would be like, I don't know, like you should try a few things, like maybe, but I still don't feel like I've had enough time in it. I've had months in it, months and months and months. I still don't feel like I have the ability to say yeah or no yet. I've had some issues, but I've had some good times. So, as the viewer, just make sure that maybe you don't overlook the fact that maybe someone's telling you that something's really good, but they haven't had the time to experience if it's truly a good product yet. So don't instantly go off like, okay, this is awesome, and go buy one. Because some of you guys are such strong supporters that you will do things like that. And that's what makes you guys awesome. But at the same time, I don't want to see you guys waste your money. So support, like, I love that. I think it's awesome when I see it happening even on other channels. But just be cautious though. Like, be practical. Someone shouldn't tell you if something's good after a few hours of using it. Like, that's probably not a fair, unless you acknowledge repeatedly that, hey, I've only used this for a few hours, but in that few hours, this is what I said. Then, you're covering yourself, but like, it's still, nowadays people are so quick to support that that's what makes them so awesome, and like great as a supporter. And but at the same time, you know I don't want you wasting your money. So a lot of you guys, I'm sure, earn your money every penny by sweat, and off your back. So a lot of you guys don't get a free dollar. So I just want to see you make sure that you're using it and you're not being. I don't think any of those guys would ever dupe anybody. I don't think that. I just think the viewer, I just be more aware that it's not probably the best to take your experience from a guy that's only had a few hours on it. So we catch up on a couple comments. Justin Goodwin has been hit. My God. He's kind of funny though, guys. Did he say something before that I didn't see? Dang it, Justin, you're kind of funny. I don't know if you instantly get hit for stuff like that because of YouTube, but that was kind of a little funny, man. Some of the trolls are cool. Like, I kind of think they're funny. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess you guys have the power. It's not my. I'm not. I'm not doing it. So yeah, I agree with you, Mike. Gotta be safe. Yeah, 100%. You guys earn your money and by every penny of it. So I don't want to see you waste any of it. And it's hard to make a dollar nowadays. So I sold that rope runner immediately. I couldn't stand it, but many love it. So whatever floats their boat. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had some times where I love it, other times where I'm aggravated. So yeah, I'm still up in the air. I couldn't tell you either way, ground pounder, yet. Everyone's style is so different. Nothing will work for everyone. 100%. And I think it's so awesome that we have all those different styles and ability, ways to where people can be different and show a different skill. Because it may sound silly, but I love watching guys do things old school. Some channels that I follow solely because of that. I love seeing it. Randy is the Mandy. That dude is a rock star. Just he's a character, And his skill, he keeps it very simple, but that's not because he doesn't know everything. He keeps it like that because that's what he likes, and it works for him, and he's amazing at it. So yeah, I love all the different styles. It is I compare it to like music. You know, there's a billion different ways to play a song. Every band's gonna play it a bit different. So every tree, every climber is gonna do that a bit different. So when I see people instantly get on the internet and they're like, "You should have just dropped that." For example, I am gonna call myself out. I was watching a buddy of mine, and I'm gonna call myself out, Daryl, the Nations Climber. I was watching his channel, and he was doing the video is called oh shoot, textbook tree work, kinda. And he's got this big dead oak tree, but it kind of looks like it would fit if you high stumped or something. But you know, that's I didn't say anything. That's not what I commented. But I was just watching this. I haven't even finished the video. I think I still got like 10 minutes left, maybe 15. But I'm instantly thinking that as I see the tree. And I'm like, dude, that's lame that you think that way. Because that's the thing that aggravates me when other people watch my videos when they say that. They're like, you could have dropped it. And I'm like, no, I couldn't have. I know what I could do. And I know that you couldn't just drop that dang thing. I'm positive you can't just drop it. As soon as he got in the tree and got up to like the first union, it was so incredibly obvious to me that the tree could not be dropped at all. There's no way he couldn't even get close. And I'm like, how ignorant is that? We're watching things through a camera that is made to be wide angled. So what it does is it smushes height and widens this way. So like the view can be like that. It makes it easier to view on the eyes, whatever. I don't really know why they kind of go that way, but they're wide angle lenses. It does a bit of smush. That way things from the ground don't look that tall. And as as you get up in them, it makes it look even further away when you're at height. Like if you're up 15 feet, it looks like you're about 30 when you're looking through a GoPro. So, but when you're on the ground and you look up, 100-foot tree looks like it's like 50. So don't be that guy. Like wait, watch, and just kind of understand that maybe sometimes before you. Those guys are always going to be out there. Not all of them guys are going to watch this video and be like, yeah, maybe I'm just being a bit insecure and I shouldn't comment that kind of stuff. But there's always a reason, and there's always a different way to word something. So, like, I don't get burning bridges and, like, being rude. When a lot of these guys, if they're making videos and they're putting videos out on YouTube, they're basically being like, I want to give my knowledge away. I want to entertain. I want people to ask me things. Comment. Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. They want things from people. They want the attention. So know that, and that is like a reference source that you can use. So don't be afraid to like ask questions. And sometimes if the channel is of any size, sometimes a comment will get lost in the shuffle. Say just because somebody doesn't answer, if I haven't answered a comment, it's not for any specific reason. It's because it somehow got lost. Maybe I ended up with a video that kind of did good and it got a bunch of comments, and like yours went to the bottom. But if I've ever not answered, comment back. I'll answer. You see me? I think being a bigger guy makes it tricky for me. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it is. I mean, I don't know, man. I waste enough money. I don't need to buy gimmicky crap. Yeah, yeah, and I don't want to see anybody do that either. So if I get a rope runner, it'll be OG singing tree. Right on. that sounds kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like the sharper design, in my opinion. The smoothed over like is cool, I guess. But yeah, I was a fan of the other style too, so I think they look better. But that's just me, and apparently me and Ground Pounder. So yeah, calling myself out. You don't be an idiot. So Daryl did a hell of a job so far on this tree. Just like he's such a good climber, very methodical and safe. So yeah, that channel's called The Nation's Climber. He's another guy that I think would be very open with his knowledge. So if you need help, you have questions, these guys are out here. And ask multiple people. It wouldn't hurt to get opinions a bunch of different ways if you have a question. You can learn and develop tons of skill by never taking a class and just using YouTube as a good resource. So I think people need to use it more that way instead of a place where they can let their feelings out, like or dislike. I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm about to give my opinion on a bunch of things, and just that's just weird. That's just weird to me. That's weird activity, and I try not to be a weird person. So today was my first. Okay, hang on. If I can chicken tree. Today was my first day. Don't ask me. I don't know what I'm doing. Right on. Okay. Guilty of treason. Put out a video called Emergency Tree Work. It was of a gnarly broken tree up on this house. The house was so crazily built with tiers to it. The roof was insane. It was a flat roof too, which is really cool. So they could access the roof and kind of use that to their advantage because the tree had landed onto the roof, kind of stuck in another one. Um, I really was into the video, was really stoked on it because it's awesome to see when a crew has the ability to, any of them could do it. So like all four of them that showed up on that could have climbed, but the two least, I think probably the two least experienced. I don't know about Kevin. Kevin may be very like experienced, and I just don't know. But the couple younger guys, this is the gnarly stuff, and like I get it. Like I'm starting to get older. You have to give up some of that responsibility and put some trust in some people. And for the first time in my life, I kind of have started to understand that. So like, eventually, you have to develop trust in others to help get this stuff done. Can't do it my whole life, which is a bummer. But yeah, for the first time, I've started to relate to that, and I really noticed it in his video. So yeah, they did such an awesome job setting the rigging up and getting that thing out of there. It was unreal to watch. Everything was perfect, and the new guy, I can't remember his name yet. Dang it, what is his name? What's up, Billy? How are you, brother? You a weirdo too, Jay? Cool. Yes, yes, ground pounder, I am. Isaac, yeah. I think that's right. I think you're right. Yeah, he's very he seems very skilled. Like he's very young, and yeah, it's Jake is gonna. He's such a good resource to learn from. That kid can be like he may be your next Reg. You don't know. Like so many people are on the come up right now when it comes to tree work. That's where my fascination has came in with checking out different channels now because there's a ton of them out there, and I feel like why this is I'll never understand. But a lot of tree guys are a bit insecure and they look at tree work as a competition. So even though they'll watch your videos and get information from them or learn from them, they won't tell you that they're there. They'll keep it a secret, but like, you have a YouTube channel, unless you put a false name, I know who you are because I get emailed. So like, it is what it is, though. It's okay, but I I don't really understand a lot of that. So I feel like that's the case a lot of times. Guys don't use their opportunity, and like, yeah, maybe you figured out one thing, but like, you could have learned a lot if you just would have maybe reached out and been like, hey, didn't like this or did like this. Like, I'm not a guy that I don't need all the. I don't have to have nothing but positive comments. Like, I'm okay being. I'm negative sometimes. That's just me. But like, I don't want. I'm not gonna put up this image like I'm holier than now, and like I don't cuss or, I'm a full grown man who does tree climbing, and like I was raised more country. So like, I'm far from perfect. So, and I want to make that clear. And I think that I do with the way that I make videos. Um, I'm more than okay showing every mistake that I make because I think those are the learning times. So I just try to show them. And I think some people they're starting to think that like I'm faking some of this stuff so that I can put out fail videos. And I hope that's not the case because I never would do something like that. That's goofy. But yeah, that is what it is though. Dang, my old chair is falling apart. That dude, YouTube Gold. Yep, yeah, 100%. Oh, and another thing I wanted to discuss on his video. That's another one. I get guys nonstop. They're like, why don't you get a big chipper? Why don't you use a crane? Why don't you get a bucket truck? Why don't you do this? That was another one of them jobs where I don't care what kind of equipment you had. You wasn't getting it up there. So you gotta have that skill of climbing still has to exist. So even though the machine is far beating out the man nowadays, you still should be proud and like know that you're still needed out there often. So that's just a little something that I wanted to point out because that's usually not the case. Usually it's always somebody a comment, well, why don't you got this piece of equipment? Why don't you got this? Why don't you got this? Because I get by and I maybe pay my bills sometimes and like that's it. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm just not that guy. I don't got it like that. Don't know if I ever will. But yeah, I live a pretty happy life, and that's enough for me. That's enough. Like I don't know. Like I don't want to get too deep into that weird stuff, but I want to enjoy my life. So, um, oh, let's see. Hang on. Let's do our tip trick right now. We'll kind of break this up a little bit. This, like I was going to tell you guys, this one is going to kind of coincide with some of our channel stuff. So, I'll put you guys over here. Shoot. That up like that. Let me see if I can do something here. How's that? Better? Yeah, that's much better. Let's do this. Would it look better if I take it over here? We go here. Let me grab the little treat. Okay, here you go. So that lighting right there is trash. I don't like that. Let's see. We got it. See my 026? There. I need to get it running. Okay. Yeah, much better. Okay. Alright, guys. So, now, we have this. The thing I want to discuss is vertical speed lining. And why would you need that? Why is that something that would help you when you're doing tree work? And it's pretty simple. Um, if you're on an incline and you're dropping down chunks of wood or even limbs and you don't want the wind to travel it out, you want to keep it right at the trunk, this technique is perfect. Now I want you to imagine this tree is on a heavy hillside and you were up in it climbing and you cut a big chunk off. Let's put it, I'll lean in a little bit like that. And it's going down a hill. So you cut a chunk off from up here. You tie it in out here. You cut this chunk off and it went off. And it bounced and it bounced and it bounced and it hit a house. There's a house at the bottom of the hill. Or you're working next to a ravine or a creek, or there's a soft spot in the yard, or anything like where you don't want to, you have an impact area and you want to stay in that area. What you do is you cut pieces that are big enough that they're not going to get outside of that area. And this technique is like, it's amazing and so simple to set up. So you can use a porta wrap if you want. Squirrely John, what's going on? Oh, the comments are kicking now. Billy, what's going on, my brother? All right, so if we're going to set up a vertical speed line, we're going to use these little things that I made for our displays. I made these before. Little like key rings. And we'll pretend like they're slings, okay? So in this scenario, if I was cutting off big chunks of wood, I'm not going to use probably a carabiner. I'm going to use like an X-ring instead. So this works perfect. That's what I would use. What I would do is I would set the X-ring up on it. Actually, I'll show you guys up close first. So I would set the X-ring up on it here. To where when it comes over, it's going to ride the line like that. I mean, you could make it so it rides the line even more in the middle. It's going to get out even less because it doesn't have a longer side. So you know it's only going to get out, no matter which way it flips, it's only going to get out this far. So you hook it up like that. You can hook it up wherever you want. I would suggest making sure always that this sling is on there strong. But so you set it up, and then what you're going to do is you'll take your rigging rope and you'll run it through the ring like this. And you got to imagine this piece hasn't been cut. You got to use your imagination. So then I would take an anchor off. Actually, no. Man, it is so hot. So, like I said, through the ring, and then you anchor it to the tree. And I'll show you this after it's set up. Yeah, I'll just make this quick. You could tie a running bowline, whatever it is you want to tie, but I'm just going to tie a double overhand real quick. Do like that. So the way it'll be set up now will be like this. So most of the time you want to keep these in relationship to each other really close because it'll put more or less stress on the point. The further it takes to drop in, I'll show you both. So if it's here, you would have the rope going up, it would go down, to your quarter wrap, or you just have another ring down there. But what happens is when it falls off, it just rides that line. So what happens is it can't go running off. So like even if it wanted to, what'll happen is some slack will come out in this rope. Let's see. Get a little bit of slack. So some slack will come out, so it'll come out here a little bit. A guy can pull that slack in if you're using just like a ring, or maybe even with the quarter wrap. But a lot of times what you want to do is you want to leave that slack so that the piece does hit out away from the quarter wrap or ring or whatever it is that you're using. Because if you don't want two pieces of metal banging together repeatedly. So you watch that from the side. It is hot as hay over here. You watch that from the side. There it is set up. It drops into the system. Some slack comes out so that it, oh Jesus, I pulled it over on my head. So it can get away from the quarter wrap. But what happens is it can no longer get down the hill unless you let rope out and let it go. So the reason I wanted to use that as the tip trick is because I seen tree climber Harry put out a short that was really fun, and he was using the vertical speed lining setup, and it's such a good technique to have and works in some scenarios that, like, I don't know if any other technique could be better. So it's definitely a trick that you want to know, and it can be so handy. But man, it is hot. All these lights in here. I hate when you start something you can't stop. I'm gonna open the door, even though I'm gonna get a ton of bugs in here. Okay. Let me try to catch up on a few comments. That's awesome, John. That's awesome. So, email is on channel info. So hit me up. Okay. So, yeah, vertical speed lining. A great technique to use, and it's so effective when you need to keep things around the rim, the base of the tree, and it can't get loose. So working on an incline, it's the best. So you're crazy, ground pounder. You're crazy. So so we talked about, this is one of my biggest things of the week, okay? They've got me hook, line, and sinker. So, the lighting sucks here. I'm already getting June bugs. I'm going back over here. The June bug just smacked me because I smacked it. So, this is much better anyway. Yeah, trees. Apparently they made a pilot, and for a TV channel, maybe, I don't really know. I want to say that the producers and whoever made the decision to not go with that TV show is an idiot. And I think if someone was to go videotape them and put out quality videos and make good videos on the regular, that channel would blow up. That dude's a character. And I found out that there was supposed to be a video like series where he was going to do like a whole series for tree work, and they filmed it and stuff. Apparently it didn't go through, which sucks. I think that's dumb. because I would have loved to watch it. You want to get me back to watching TV? Make that TV show. So that happened. Also, he talks about like I can't wait for his next video because apparently he had some drama maybe with the guy that he used to work with when he tried to start his business, and he's like letting everybody in on that, which is as a content creator, it's genius. As maybe a tree guy, it's a bit abnormal, but that's only because tree guys try to put on a bravado that sometimes is ridiculous. But that's not just tree guys. It's just a certain breed of man. Let's just say that. Takes one to know one. Is that right, Girl Butter? Right on. Is Saw Bandits the channel you're promoting? I like those Irish. Yes, yes. And I will talk about. I'll give them a shout out one more time before we end the live feed. Saw Bandits is the featured channel for the week. Go check them guys out. Amazing dudes. I just watched his last video where he talks about he taking a little bit of a break. He's going to start kicking out content on the regular, and he's very, very open, honest, and hilarious. So definitely go check that out. But yeah, John, that's it. You guys should find the show. No Sack Raw. It's a TV. Oh really? That's awesome. Yeah, I used to love to watch Axemen and stuff when they would even do the logging and they would just show like anchoring and the little bit of tree work they would show. I loved it. So I related to like when Shelby would go do trees because he didn't like he wore like cut off blue jeans and nothing else. And yeah, like I get it. Like I've seen some stuff, things that people will never understand, safety violations that were broken that I don't even know if there were safety rules back then, but yeah, it's nuts to see where things are at now compared to where they used to be. It is absolutely unreal. I never knew about hard hats or even wearing one till I was maybe 20 something. And I mean, I knew about hard hats, but I didn't think tree guys wore them. I thought like guys that build houses wear them and miners wear them. But yeah, so it's wild. And when I found all that out, is basically when I got my like second run at tree work. That's what my dad did. I had done it my entire life up to then, and then found out that you could make YouTube videos and there was a whole community out there, and I was like, what? And then my wife's like, told you, now get Facebook. And that was the first thing I got was Facebook, and then it went from there to the next, and just been awesome to grow a channel, and I'm stoked that my channel has like grown slow because more than anything, I've got to know everybody and it hasn't been overwhelming. Like, I'm sure that if my channel just blew up, I wouldn't have a relationship with really anybody because you kind of build those along the way. You don't just instantly be like, oh, this guy leaves the most comments. I love, like, you start being like, love you, bro, love you. You, like, you honestly, I think it's disingenuous when, like, a creator says, all right, guys, I'll see you next time. I love you. Whoa, you do not love everybody who watches your videos. And if you do, cool. Like, I care for everybody. I think everybody's equal. Like, I'll treat everybody with the respect that I want. But, like, I'm not, I don't like, love everybody. I'm different, I guess. I don't know. That kind of stuff's weird to me. But YouTube has a few episodes, but you can stream it off their website. It's an older show. That's cool. I'll check it out. The whole tree community is what makes it all worth it at times. Yeah, and then at the same time, there's some of the tree industry guys are like jerks, and I don't much get that. Like, I'd rather be nice and like just I don't know. I don't know. When I finally take my last breath, I don't want anybody to be like that guy was a jerk. And that's what I'm trying to go through life, being like that. And I think I used to take it so personal when people would leave a negative comment because I'm like, I'm not, like, I don't dislike anybody. Like, I treat everybody so good unless they've done something to me. So I've learned later to not let that affect me as much, but originally it was really rough to deal with. And originally, I even think back just the other day, I was an idiot. Like, I thought my shit didn't stink and I knew everything, and like, because I had experience that guys that were almost twice my age, I had the same amount of experience. And I'm like, even though these guys have been doing like this YouTube thing longer and like Facebook thing longer, like most of them, I've been doing tree work twice as long as them. So like, I kind of got this fat head when I first started out, and I got some attention, and then like, I'm sure I had times where I was rude and I for no reason. Like, I have to separate my life from YouTube because anything that happens in my personal life has nothing to do with you guys and like shouldn't affect you guys. So I looked at it all as like, this is my life and these people can't talk to me, and that's so silly. It was exhausting to deal with. Some of those guys, including you, Mike, has got me through some, whether you know it or not. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, me too, man. I'm a person that I like to stay very in touch with myself. I will go through an extreme amount of pain to learn how to deal with extreme amounts of pain. I will suffer through things because I feel like maybe I deserve them. I like to. I think nowadays it's so easy to let some doctor give you a pill and stuff and go. So like, I try to stay very in touch with myself, and like, this gave me an escape a lot of times, ground pounder, that helped me just like flip a switch and like, everything sucks over here and like, I think it's the end of the world, but like, these guys don't know nothing about it, and like, they're still they're still treating me good, and like, YouTube is pretty cool. Like, I can't complain. It's a good place. There's some rotten people sometimes that say some rotten things, but like, it's you. A lot of you guys have helped me more than 99% of these viewers will never understand the amount of help that I've been given from a lot of you guys, and they probably never will understand that. But yeah, I've been helped so much by guys like Greg Brown, Ground Pounder, uh, even back in the day, guys like Corey McDivitt and um, Jared Sprague, Knee Nigget. It's just been unreal. I've met some people that I kind of look up to. You know, I could care less what anybody else's opinion of him is, but Dan the Tree Man is a guy that I look at as like, we're sitting side by side, and like, he's the man when it comes to doing tree work. That dude's got all the skill in the world, and I think YouTube's not fair sometimes. I think a lot of channels will blow up for no reason, and maybe your channel doesn't blow up, but it is fun to make videos, put them out, share them with people, and sometimes that you just have to realize that you to be able to enjoy and grow a community, you have to be okay with having constructive criticism, and at times, you're gonna get just full out negativity. So if you're okay with dealing with some of that stuff, and you can not let it affect you personally, you should start a YouTube channel. Try it. No one knows who's gonna blow up and why. I'll never understand it, but I'm just here for the community now, and I'm doing it to just give give myself something to do. Like I said, it's helped me through a lot of things, just like Ground Pounder was saying. So okay, let's see. I want to catch up on some comments, and then we'll probably get close to finishing this thing. Man, we may go for another 20 or more. I don't know. Honestly, love the reason. Love the reason. Jay, I think we are very alike, brother. I'm a bit of an introvert. Like the me that you get here is probably not going to be the me that you get if you run into me out in public. I'm pretty reserved. Like I stay in my shell. I stick to myself. I'm not really outgoing unless you put me in my element. And you guys all know my element, so like, and this becomes my element after a while. But I don't walk around with this ignorant confidence because I think if you walk through life at all times with that, you become an asshole, and I don't want to be that. So you have to be rough at times, and you have to stand up for yourself and make sure you don't let people walk on you because people will nowadays. But you don't have to be an asshole. And I'm just trying to, yeah, trying to go out one day and not have somebody tell rotten stories about me after I'm gone. But yeah, Dano is the mano. Just it's just the truth. Dan is the man. He is incredibly humble. One day I will show you. I have an obsession, a collection, an insane obsession that is out of hand. It has become very excessive and almost crazy. My shed's much bigger than you guys think. Dano is the only one that's ever seen this. My shed's a lot bigger than you guys think. The other half of the shed holds a collection of things that I have and some other tools for the most part, but like actually it may be more than half of it. And it's a bit crazy. But when I need that like chill out and I can look back here behind the camera right now, it makes me feel like a kid again. And yeah, I don't know. It's just something I do. You know, I'm a recovering addict and will be for the rest of my life when it comes to pain pills. So I feel like having things to do, the idle time is the devil's work. So like I try to keep myself busy, and I always have a lot of hobbies and stuff, and that just became one of them. One day maybe I'll show you guys, and you guys will be like, "What a freak," because it is crazy. So been to Greg's house multiple times now. Another Greg is he's cooler on the other side of the pillow, and he has done more for me than anyone ever should have. He's an amazing guy, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves because I promise you, Greg doesn't just help me, he helps tons of people. And like, I'll never be able to repay him back. And that really, really gets to me. Okay, maybe one day I can just go up there and work for like a month for free. Okay, what's your channel's amazing community, Mike? Absolutely mind blowing, honestly. Well, we've tried to build a pretty good one, man. We've tried, and I appreciate everybody who does hang around, stick around, and conversate back and forth. We have some really loyal people who watch no matter what, which is I appreciate them just as much. You don't have to leave a comment. I just like to, without the feedback and like stuff from you guys, I can't make the channel any better. Like I try, but the channel can become a much better the more kind of feedback I get, and you're like, well, maybe this wasn't the best. Or like that kind of stuff's how I've tried to mold the channel together. So sometimes that stuff's good, you know. I think it's helped build this community. Without some of those negative, crazy comments, some of these people that I've had arguments with that I'm friends with now. So it's like, you know, thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. There's a big difference between channels that make content for view rather than the ones that promote work safety and technique. Yeah. Yep. I think just entertainment is important though, John. Like at the same time, so you'll always try to get. I'll try to give a pretty even mix, but I feel like every video, and I don't. This is how I make a video. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I record what happens. I then watch it back, and I'm like, whoa, that was a cool storyline. Let's go in that direction. And I try to tell that story. Like, well, if I would have done this on this day, things would have been better. Or if I would have done this, it would have screwed everything. Like, there's so many different ways you can go about it. But I think some of the channels that do the best are those that like stick to a format and they just repeat that over and over and over. And I don't know if an audience wants that over something new. Or is it important for there to even be a story on the videos? Or do you just want to see it? Because sometimes I don't know. I spend a lot of time putting text and stuff into my videos, pointing things out, and trying to tell a story each time that maybe aren't necessary. And if that's the case, I'll put out way more content because I don't have to do all that crazy amount of work. But that's where the the feedback I always need that stuff. So. Yeah, some of the stuff out there is very dumb, John. I will agree. My idle time has been filled with skydiving now. That's so awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I skateboard. I do that, and I'm always like working on something, tinkering with something. My obsession is wild though. So Dan Durham, what's Dan got to say? Kind of random, but what are your thoughts on taking the exam and getting the ISA certification? Definitely picked up some tricks of the trade from your channel. Appreciate you stuff. Thumbs up from Kentucky. Let's say Dane Durham. It almost is like Dane Berman at first. I'm like the skateboarder, and I just said I skateboard, but Dane. I think if you're at that point in life, I think you should. If you've advanced yourself, here's my opinion on the ISA certification. I think it's something that you should do as you feel yourself maybe being. I see people do it as like the first thing. And then I don't even know how they manage to get certified and they have absolutely no experience. I think experience is the most important thing in tree work, and that's something you can't buy, which is tough. So like you can get things done, but like and you may be able to fool a customer or a homeowner on occasions that like he was really good and you may not know anything. But other tree guys will know. Like so I think it's a very cool thing. Um, and you could maybe later on, if you feel like getting into that field, start diagnosing trees. But if you feel you're advanced enough that that's a step that you need to take, I say go for it. You know, it can't hurt you. It's only gonna make you better. Like, but the problem with it is you have these hours that you have to keep up. They treat you like you're a doctor that has a. Basically, you become a tree doctor because even my father-in-law is an eye doctor. He has to keep up a certain amount of hours where he goes to conventions, he takes classes, and he has to do those hours every year. So that's something you have to do also. Is you have to keep it up, pay the fees, and some of that stuff I don't really like, and I just not that point in life where I feel like it would help me, but and I'm probably not located in a place where it's important, really, if I'm being honest. At least not yet. Yeah, Greg, yeah, give him your friendship. Yeah, and he's such a kind hearted person. He is gold as a human. That's yeah, yeah. If you know Greg, you know Greg. What's Greg charge for his bollard? I'd run one. I think he's cheaper than. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember. I've had mine for so long, and he just sent me one. So like, my brother bought one, but I can't remember how much. Ground Pounder may know before I would. I'd have to look back on my texts and stuff because he sent me some info one time. He's got a bunch of different kinds. He's got ones that have winches attached. He has double bollards. He's got the like ones with the spiked backs, the ones without the spiked back. Like he's got so many variations. Not just the tube. Yeah, John, one of us can get you his info. Greg's usually always in the comment section too, so like you can always catch Greg there. But yeah, if you shoot him a text or something, we'll let him know that old Squirrely John is curious about some pricing, and I'm sure he'll leave it. He'll let us know. Hit me up. It's kind of elusive at times. Yes, yes. No rush. Have it here in a minute. Uh, yeah, it's in my opinion so much more effective and easy to use than a porter wrap, and you don't have to deal with the pigtails all the time, which are so aggravating when you're rigging. I'm telling you, and John, a homeowner could easily use the bollard when they definitely could not use a porter wrap. Like you couldn't just teach a homeowner how to use a porter wrap from the top of a tree and know that they're going to use it right. Like the range for error is so much higher there than it is the other way. But I have three different ones. You come out here, you crazy. Bollard is 100% hands down better than yeah, 1,000 times. Okay, so I don't even think we finished all the news. I don't know if we will this time. August put out a couple videos. Uh, will this tree get hung up? Where he's pushing a tree through some other trees and then pulling over a back leaner by hand. He used a 5-to-1 to an anchor and was able to get a pretty heavy lean tree to go where he wanted. That's a guy that's got, once again, tons of tricks and is there to learn from. Like I've learned things from August and didn't even go there. I went there to just be entertained and learn some things. So another one of the OGs, ground pounder, taking down spar, Northern Pine with his 500i. Um, I finally used a 500i just the other day, and wow, that's nice. I love it. I don't know how I'm ever gonna have the money to be able to get something like that, but it was so incredibly snappy and like powerful. But there's a video coming up where I use it to fall this really gnarly leaning sweet gum log after I rigged the tree out. So actually, it's the video that I cut my climbing rope that's right here. I just cut that rope today. Finally taped it. Now I have two 100-foot 5/8 bull ropes. Two 100-footers. So stupid. So aggravating. I cannot believe I cut it. So now I don't have a big rope for rigging anymore. So it's gonna be tricky. Use a quarter rep still, but yeah. Yeah, and if you have the knowledge to use a quarter rep, sometimes it's just quicker and easier to set up if you only need it for a second. Or I personally like to have a quarter rep and a bollard because there's been times where I'm using both. So my oldest rope guy was 70. He said some good sized chunks for him. That's awesome, man. That's so funny. Yeah, I dig those people. Sometimes it's so awesome when you need somebody to give you a hand. It's so aggravating when you don't. And they're like, "Oh, here, I'll get it." And they're like, "No, please, please stay out of the way." But yeah. So August did that. I was ground pounder. Oh, a new channel that I kind of found and I've been liking is Lim Reaper. He was just put out a video that's called doing tree work on the side. Seems to be a pretty good guy. His content is tree work, and he's starting by himself. And we were talking about having a homeowner help. The homeowner was dragging the brush for him. He's just starting out. He's trying to do it on his own. So yeah, I've been entertained there. Um, oh, climbing, rigging, doing like using things that have been cut. Like it's just not. I don't care if it's a steel core lanyard. If it's been cut all the way around, now what's going to happen? And I've seen people say, "Oh, you're fine. You're fine. It's just the rope that's cut." Well, but no, 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 no. That attachment there, okay, it's not going to pull itself out because it's got a thimble at the end. But that attachment, the adjuster, is called a rope grab. It is not a cable grab. So what happens is it will grab the sheave and shred it. It will pull from the cable. Like if it's not grabbing on rope, it's not going to grab. So I wouldn't personally take that chance, even if it's a steel core lanyard. If you've cut all the way around where the rope is at, it's a big fray. I just don't see the point in using it. And I seen that come up this week, and the guy asked like, should I keep using it or do I need to get a new one? And I think he needs to get a new one. And I was amazed to see some of the people who said, "Oh no, you're fine," and were very confident to say, "Oh no, you're fine." No, you're not fine. You're not. That thing's not in good shape. Like that rope grab is not going to work correctly if it get when it hits that spot at all, no matter what. Plus, it's gonna get stuck in it. Like I don't know. That's just my opinion. And I think it's something that you'll have to put a lot of focus in. You'll see it at all times, and then you'll develop a trust in it eventually that it's working correctly, and then it won't one time. And that's not good. That's an unnecessary risk to take, in my opinion, and I just don't think it's smart. Also, the cable's now exposed to all the elements and is more susceptible to starting to rust or get bad spots. It's just not a good look. I wouldn't confidently be like, yeah, it's cool. You should do that. Let's see. What do we have here? There's no shock load on the ground due with a bollard. Oh yeah, yeah. If yeah, that's true because it's fixed to the tree. Where a lot of times even a bollard, when I use a bollard and I'm gonna use it for rigging for a while, I try to get where it attaches. You try to get very little like slack in it, and you want it to be able to stand up. And I take like a ratchet strap and use the hook to keep it standing at all times so that the line can be sweated. But just more labor intensive to use a quarter wrap over a bollard. But if you can't afford a bollard and you have a quarter wrap, you should use a quarter wrap. Can't deny an old man's dream. That's awesome, man. Let's see squirrels some subs, y'all. Yeah, yeah, I'm down. Like I said, if you have a channel, leave your channel name in the comment section. I will look at it and I will try to pick a featured channel each week. I need to, that reminds me, I want to shout out the other people who left their channels in the community page. So I asked people to, if you have a channel, you want me to check something out, put your channel name. Um, Brush Life, Oscar. Oscar is the man. He's uh he's so good at tree work. They've gotten a lot of cool big machinery here lately. He's the man. He makes videos. The channel's at Brush Life. Really good guy. Definitely recommend watching his stuff. Also, Nate Outdoors. Nate is N8 Outdoors. Um, Nate only puts out shorts. I don't see any videos. My recommendation: you can build a channel very quickly and rapidly by putting out shorts, but you want to entertain and build a library of videos for your audience because the shorts are teasers, and then when they want to see is am I going to subscribe to this, like the long form is where it's at as far as that goes. But you can build a huge channel, and I've seen channels that have 1 million subscribers, but they have no videos. It's nothing but shorts. So I guess you can build a channel on shorts if you want, but I think as far as being lucrative, it's not. I think that's it's kind of the no go on that. It's, the videos is where I think you do monetarily, you do much better, but I don't know all that stuff. My channel does crap. It takes like 2 months before I get $100 payment. But it is what it is. I'm not crying about it. I'm just here to enjoy the brothership that we got, entertain, and let me get some creative juice out. That's what YouTube is for me. So. Oh, was that Squirrely John's? I'll have to check it out. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, but I like I think I enjoy my videos much more long, like it'll be a long time and I'll watch some of my older videos and like I enjoy them much more than some of the newer ones. Like the stress of what happened is still in my head, so it's hard for me to ever enjoy it when I put it together or I watch it. And when I put it out, I'm like, oh, I could have done it so much better. I should have done this. I should have done this. I should have done this. I can't believe I left there. All the sounds crap here, and it's like later on when I give all that stuff up, stop thinking about it, then I'm like, it was a good video. But yeah, I'm always the worst on myself as far as all that goes. Guys, I think we covered everything I wanted to talk about. Um, oh no, I can't believe I almost forgot. Meta Spencer. Meta Spencer put out a really good video, Big Dead Maple Climb, and this is such a good talk about. For those of you who like to use pole gaps, the thing about pole gaps, the reason they become so nice is they're much smaller, and what that does is it gives your foot the ability to be much closer to what you're spiked into. They're easier to move around with. Um, the closeness, they become much more comfortable. A lot of times they're aluminum, which is lighter. Like I prefer pole gaps. if I'm gonna go up a ways or I'm in some thicker bark stuff, I'll rope walk. Even with when I'm using spikes. So that is, doesn't mean that I don't keep a pair of tree gaffs on me. I keep a brand new pair of Bajlin tree gaffs, and I just switch my pads over. Or I may even have an old set of pads on them. But there are times where you'll get into a dead, rotten tree, and you can't throw a line up into it and rope walk up into it because you're afraid it'll break out. So then you need tree spikes. That's where Metter Spencer found himself. He went to go up the tree. It was falling apart and so foamy that he went back down, switched his spikes out, put on some tree spikes, then went back up. The difference is pole spike, tree spike. So a lot of times a tree will become rotten and it has crumbly outside, and then after you get in a little ways, there's some actual hardwood or the cambium layer where it was living at one point. So you need the spike to go through. Pole gaff sometimes too short, just crumblies or bark. So that's what he did. It's something to remember. If you do switch to pole gaffs, do not get rid of them tree gaffs. Keep them very close because you get on them super rotten ones where your spikes will not go in, and that's when you need the tree gaffs. So that's what Meta Spencer did. He he's the only other guy that I've ever seen talk about that, and I'm the same way. I prefer to have more tools than I'll ever need. I like to need it, not use it, instead of need it, not have it. So I bring more than I probably need to a lot of times. That was every single thing that I wanted to talk about. I have what I'm going to call WTF YouTube, and I'm going to give you a YouTube channel. This was one of the craziest, this is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. So, you guys can, maybe some of you have seen it, because like I said, it's a very big channel. So, my cat Husky, he will donate maybe. Yeah, there's a couple of them right up there. I don't even let them sit over there with my regular saw. I feel like some of that weird red orange color will rub off on them, and I don't want that. I'm on tree gaffs myself. Yeah, I just pole gaffs are so much more comfortable. They're so much more secure because you're not on this long point as opposed to the closer you get your foot to the tree, especially on spar work, you feel much more comfortable. You can get your like the knuckle of your big toe to like or the side of your foot to touch the tree. Then it doesn't feel like you're so tipsy on them. So that's just me though. So Eldred Talons, that's awesome. Those huskies should be on. I know. I'm starting to smell them too, Jay. I should have put them outside. It's starting to stink in here. So, okay, first I'll tell you this story about what happened after the camera shut off. You guys remember where I put out the video and I did that tree from a picture? And I was like, tell me the difference. Like, does this look big in the picture or when I get there? And I was trying to miss those antique cars. Do you guys remember that? And I ended the video. I was sweating. I had sweat in my eyes. I was exhausted. Felt like I was gonna pass out. That was that wasn't the last video. It's the video before last. The last one I just put out was the rotten tree that I fell next to the house. But you guys remember what I'm talking about? So I am burnt. I am so done right then when I'm leaving that job. I try to get back before traffic gets going real bad down the highways because I still had like I think it was like a hour and a half drive or something like that. So I can't believe you Canadians are even allowed to have tan rights. Um, so I'm on my way home, and as I'm getting to 55 highway off of, I believe it was I on two? I think I was on 270. or no, I was on 141. That's what I was on. And I was getting ready to get off at Arnold on the 55 highway. All of a sudden, truck. It's a work. Doesn't got a name or nothing on it, but it's a U. Pulls up next to me. He gets right about here, and there's a car right here in front of me. He doesn't put his blinker on, and I don't know how I've made this guy angry, but all he does is throw his hands up and he gives me the bird. And I'm like, he starts coming over. I can't slow down. Like, I can't, like, if I slam on my brakes, I'm going to get rear ended because I'm already starting to slow down, but the car in front of me is stopping too. So he is coming in whether I make space for him or not. So he almost takes the front end of my truck off. We were coming up to a traffic light, so like the gap was starting to close, but he was still coming over. So he pushed me into the next lane. That was okay, really, because I was actually getting off at that exit. So he just got me over a little before I was ready to do. Take off from the thing, and he's like, still got like this. I don't know what his issue with me is, but then I see him look in his mirror. He goes right up in front of me again, and he does it again. And this time he runs me into the shoulder. And as I'm getting onto the shoulder, we're going around this curve, getting ready to get up to the exit. And there's a city cop parked there. And I almost rear end him. He's just parked. I didn't see him at all. We were going probably 45 from the stoplight before he did this. I almost rear end the cop. I pull back. I slam on my brakes and I pull back and I'm like, we're going to get pulled over. We're going to get pulled over. Or I'm going to get pulled over. He won't. So we get up to the exit and he goes like crossways so that I can't go around him. And he's just flipping me off. And so at that point, I've lost my cool. I'm like, get out. And he takes off and he flips me off and he keeps pointing to his seat like he's got something. I don't really know. But at that point, I've lost my cool. He's almost made me wreck into a cop. He's about wrecked me out twice. I don't know this guy and he keeps giving me the bird. And I'm like, I got all the time in the world. I'll follow you wherever you want. So I drove, and I drove, and I drove. And every exit we got to, he would get up to that exit. He would get off onto like he's getting off at that exit. And then at the last second, because I would follow, he would pull back onto the highway. I don't know. He's so ignorant. To the point that I would just stay in the middle of the lane instead of getting off at the exit completely because I knew he was going to do it each time. And then one point, he decides he's not going to do that. And he keeps pointing down, and he's like, and I'm like, what? Is this dude trying to tell me he's got a gun? And I think that's what he was trying to say. Like, I don't really know, but I can't say definitively. But he keeps flipping me off, and he keeps swerving over at me as we're going down the highway. So I just got back behind him about a car's length and just stayed there. And I'm at that point I'm committed. But we had drove for so long, I had cooled off a little bit, and I'm like, man, Mike, this isn't worth it. I'm trying to talk to myself. I'm trying to talk myself out of it because I know I'm committed at this point. And I'm like, it's not worth it. He's probably gonna drive you to like a damn shop where there's 50 guys there that are gonna beat the piss out of you. But I'm still like, oh, I'm gonna follow. And we get to this exit, and he decides he's not gonna do his little trick. And I'm like, oh, he's not. He's getting off this exit. If he's not doing his weird little get off the exit, pull back out. And I'm like, okay. So I've lost, like I said, I lost it. I was cherry hot. I see my I see my Reese hitch in the floorboard, and I want to throw my Reese hitch at him. And I'm like, oh no 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 no, that's not smart. My cousin went to jail or prison over throwing a monkey wrench through a guy's windshield. But I blacked out and I was beyond aggravated at that point. Didn't care. So he does exactly what I think he's going to do. Well, I had some frozen Gatorades that I had in a cooler and they didn't thaw out the whole day. It was a big Gatorade too. And I'm like, oh, I got you. I got you. So he knows he doesn't have any markings on his truck, so no one can call in for him being stupid, threaten that he's got a gun, run me off the road 4 or 5 different times, flip me off repeatedly, about wreck me out. There's consequences for stupid activity. So I grab my Gatorade, and the first thing I think is, anytime I've ever tried to throw something at somebody, it hits my window seal and goes all in my car. You ever done that? Where you think, I'm about to get this guy, and you throw something and it sprays all back in your face? That's the only thing I'm thinking is going to happen to me. I'm like, man, I'm about to bust my window out, but I'm committed. So he does exactly what I thought. He stays out here. I'm behind him. He gets it the last second, and as I'm getting up next to him, he says, gives me the finger again out of his window, and I had chucked my Gatorade as hard as I could. And it is 100% online and a perfect throw. And if it didn't put the fattest dent in the side of that truck, I would be amazed. But at that point, I was hoping it was going to hit his windshield. And like, yeah, he had me beyond heated. He about wrecked me out into a cop, which then I felt like I'd have got arrested for something stupid. And I would total, like, I had just never seen anybody, I've never seen anyone disregard a vehicle for what it is, which is a death machine. Like, you could kill somebody. If you're not paying attention for a minute, you're going to kill somebody. You could purposely run someone off the road, kill somebody. Like, those things need to be respected. And I've never seen anybody use it like a bumper car. But he did it to me. He did it to other people along the way. And I'm like, you're about to pay for this. So what you can do now is go back to your boss. I hope it's your truck, actually. I hope that it's your truck and you have to drive around with this fat dent in the side of your truck. And hope to God that if I ever get to Barnhart area, I don't see you. Because I've now made your vehicle so it's very noticeable. It's the white utility truck with the fat dent in the side. So, yeah, you don't always get away with everything. There are repercussions sometimes. So that day, that's what happened on my ride home by myself. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. I hate being like that. I hate getting that mad. And I hate overreacting because I feel like now when I talk about it, I feel like I overreacted a little bit. But then I think a little harder and I'm like, nah, he got what he needed. So, all right. That was so crazy. I shouldn't even have told that story, but whatever. YouTube things that blow my mind. Here you go. I watched this channel called John Malecki. Does anybody know a John Malecki YouTube channel? Okay, so John Malecki is a guy that uses, like, so this is somewhat tree related. He does, okay, what he did, I've built a lot of things by cutting slabs of wood with my chainsaw. I have like my entertainment center and my house is made out of a walnut slab. I have a trailer that has a full walnut slab floor in it. All my shelving and stuff was made with it. I've made tons of stuff with it. I take like old fish tank tables and put a slab on it, make tables, and actually my bench. I have a huge bench out here. It's made of black walnut too, but this guy takes black walnut slabs and bends them. So let me explain to you what he does. Plus we can shout these guys out one more time. So go subscribe to Saul Bandits. I know it's backwards, but I didn't think about that when I wrote it. So that's the featured channel. So here, this is what the guy does. Like, he takes. Let's do this. He takes like a normal slab of wood. And he bends it and makes a table that is like this. Out of that slab of wood, he makes a table that is like this. And it's like all one slab. And the drama that happens and the sanity that happens when he makes it is so entertaining. And he got my subscription instantly. So this was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And I really, really, really would love to try to do it. But I'm not saying that John bent a like 2x4. No, 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 no. This is like 4 to 6 inches thick of a slab. Like huge slab. Like he makes like an huge office table out of it. And some chaos happens along the way, which are very entertaining. So it was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And I really would love to try it one day. And he was very ingenuitive. Like he he adapted and made some tools along the way to make this possible. But it is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen anybody do. So after this video is over, I will share a link to his channel, to that channel that I'm talking about, and you guys got to go check it out. It is so entertaining. So yeah, that's actually what I'm gonna do. Is I don't want to step on my own views for my channel. So what I'll do is in my community page, on my community section on my page or channel, I will put a thumbnail and the link to his video because it's like it's so entertaining. And what happens is like things go wrong and he has to it becomes even more amazing than it originally was, and like it's wild. So I'm sure you guys will like it. Maybe you won't, but it's seriously one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. And I would say most of you guys are gonna enjoy it too. So that's it. Moose Jaw is 75,000 foot. It ain't backwards? Really? So when you guys see this, who said that? It's the right way. Oh, really? That is awesome. So it's just when I watch it, it's backwards. Okay. That is awesome because I'm like, damn, I will spend the time and spell it backwards if I have to. It's going to be really difficult. But I'm going to do that. Have a channel featured in the background every week. If you have a channel, you want me to watch your videos, maybe get a shout out and a little bit of traffic sent your way, go to my community page. I won't do it tonight. I'll probably do it tomorrow. But I'll put a post up for all the new channels. If I didn't get a chance to check your channel out yet, you can re-put it in there if we haven't featured you. Just want to give a little bit of shine some light on a few other channels. You guys, as always, have been amazing. Yeah, I think we're gonna call this one. I'm beat. I'm sweaty. I'm tired, and almost 2 hours. Stay safe. I'll catch you next time. See ya.